When I was growing up, my family had a cockapoo dog named Linus. Anyone familiar with Peanuts, Charlie Brown, Linus with a blanket? He had the same personality, the sweetest, warmest, most approachable dog you could imagine. And if he could talk, he'd give you whatever advice you needed without charging the 25 cents that Lucy would have otherwise. Linus was not like other dogs. He didn't bark. He chirped all the time, especially when we sat down to eat, okay? It didn't matter what was on the table. Pizza, chicken, even wanted our salad. Linus would start chirping. It was loud, nonstop, and sometimes very annoying. And admittedly, very successful. He always got what he wanted. Here's a picture of him getting exactly what he wanted. This was not his plate, this was my plate. And after being exhausted from saying, no, eventually it just became his. And I just want to play for you a very quick chirp. I would have done it myself, but pardon me, I'm not part of the choir, so it's much better for you to hear it yourself. One more time. Quite a chirp. That funny little sound became the soundtrack of our family's life. It was quirky, just like we are. But what could have been dismissed as background noise turned out to be more meaningful to us than that. It was Linus's way of saying, I'm here. I belong at this table too. And every family has its sounds. In your family, it might be the slightly off-key happy birthday chorus, or perhaps it's the creaking sound of the guest's bedroom door as a grandparent enters the room. Or maybe it's the collective groan from the rest of the family when someone turns on their favorite song or news channel. These sounds instantly take us back into memory. And yet, none of them need explaining. They just tell us, this is home. This is family. Well, the Jewish people have that too. Spread across the world, bound together as one family, we also have a sound that calls us home every year. That is the blast of the shofar. Tkiya, shivarim, teruah. No matter where you are, be it in Jerusalem, New Jersey, or even Johannesburg, when you hear it, you know instantly, this is ours. This is the sound of our Jewish family. The Mishnah teaches, the mitzvah of the shofar is fulfilled only when you hear it directly. That is to say, you can't delegate it. You can't play a recording, and you can't ask someone else to do it for you. Why? Because the power of the shofar is in the hearing, in that raw, primal sound that lands directly in one's body. It's more than about one single person. It's about all of us hearing it together. And the sound of the shofar blast transcends geographical location. Jews everywhere will hear the same blast. In Israel, you could hear it throughout synagogues, or blasts drifting out of open windows, and even on the radio. In the United States, we'll hear it in our synagogues and feel its echo from our ancestors who carry this ritual into new lands. Across continents and across cultures, it's the same soundscape. The shofar's sound also connects us through time. Rabbi Saji Gaon writing over 1,000 years ago, who lived around 700 years after the Mishnah itself was compiled, gave 10 reasons for the shofar. He said it recalls the shofar at Mount Sinai, when Torah was given and the people trembled. And his commentary emphasizes how the blasts, in fact, point to the future, to the great shofar the prophets imagined, a sound that will one day gather the Jewish people home. So each year, when we hear the shofar, we join a chorus that stretches from Sinai through our ancestors' lives and forward into our children's future. Maimonides, the Rambam, takes it a step further. Around 200 to 250 years after Sadia Gaon's commentary, he writes in Hilchot Tshuva, the Laws of Repentance, in his magnum opus known as the Mishneh Torah. Maimonides writes, even though the sounding of the shofar is a decree of the Torah, it contains an allusion. Wake up, you sleepers, from your slumber. Examine your deeds, return in repentance, and remember your Creator. The shofar doesn't just remind us of who we are, but it demands something of us. It asks us to wake up, to take responsibility, to take back what matters to us, and to live with purpose. So when we hear the shofar blast, it's more than just a ritual practice. It represents belonging, memory, and responsibility all at once. And here's where I think back to Linus. His chirping wasn't just a noise. It was his way of saying, don't forget about me. I'm here. I'm part of this family. And that's what the shofar does for us too. It breaks through the routine saying, don't forget who you are. Don't forget where you came from. You belong to this people and you belong to this story. Erev Rosh Hashanah draws near, beginning Monday evening. And when we hear the shofar, may we hear more than just the blasts of a ram's horn. May we hear the sound of our greater family, the Jewish people, across oceans, across centuries. Let it remind us that we're not alone, that we are bound to one another, and with that belonging comes a responsibility to care, to show up, and to carry our story forward. Because in the end, the shofar represents more than the sounds of the blasts we are commanded to hear. It is the sound of our people calling us home. Shabbat Shalom.